at a daily chart today. So I use my daily chart to find out the targets that I'm planning to aim for, and that's what we're going to do here now. So as you can see here, we've been trading from this the start of this month, and this is the last week of this month, and we're now trading here. We're trading at 29,125, and we are looking at this inefficiency here on the daily chart. So we're looking at this. This is what I've been looking at since last week, and we'll see about that. So let's enter this as still blue, then extend it to today or going to tomorrow. And I want to notate the midpoint of that gap and the quadrants. So you only notice these kind of things if you spend a lot of time with ICT. You may not have any idea why my eye is drawing into that inefficiency, but if you spend a lot of time with ICT, you'll find out why he's looking at this kind of inefficiencies. I mean, for one, it's the obvious one in price, and it's a displacement. So I think that's the same as the correct level. Yeah, 114. Let's copy this, and then let's take this fib. Select all this, and then so I'm trying to take the upper quadrant of this inefficiency. That's where we might be reaching for. So that level is I think 255.4. Let's just take a closer look. Yeah, it's 255.4. So when you start your analysis, this is what I look for. Then I also noted the lower quadrant, but you can see price is not really interested in that, but for the sake of doing it all, let's look at that. So here we go. So we have the quadrant of this inefficiency. So if we're gonna be bullish like we are here during this time of day, I want to be looking for price to head into the upper quadrant. So with that out of the way, we're gonna go direct to actually I want to save this template, and then we'll use it. Let's save it as this. Oh my, I've just I've not saved it. I've just done the opposite, and I cannot undo this. So let's just do it again. Custom one. Is it really? So anyway, sometimes this can happen. I wanted to save this template, so this is the inefficiency here. Extend it out to, let's say 27, and then the midpoint of that inefficiency. Now let's do this here. The midpoint is right there. So this is the midpoint, and then that upper quadrant was 255.4. And then this lower quadrant was that 967.4. So anyway, with that out of the way, what I wanted to do is to save this template, save it as today is 25th. 826 NQ, and then input this other charts. I want to have the same thing that I have for the daily chart here. So I want to go here, templates, and then use what I've just done here. Templates. There we go. So I don't know why it has not shown this. Okay, so reduce it in size. So we are there on the daily chart. You can see it right here. This is a 1 hour chart, so let's compress this, and you can see this 1 hour chart here now. Let's look at this 1 hour chart for a minute. So today is Tuesday. We opened up yesterday in midnight New York, right, on this candlestick here, and then yesterday's price action was bearish, and I talked about the consequences of going against momentum. So today you can clearly see that we are bullish. We're looking for a run into these relative equal highs here, the run into yesterday's New York sessions high. So that out of the way, let's look at a 5-minute chart here. And here we go. So the time right now is 7:45. So we are 45 minutes past midnight New York, and we've been trading higher. You can see from when we opened up at 0 GMT, we trade into the lower. This is the lower quadrant. This is daily inefficiency here, shaded in steel blue. So you can see the midpoint of this inefficiency right here on the daily chart here, and now we're trading higher. So immediately my eye goes into the midnight New York opening price, and this is this candlestick here. So that is light green, that is 92 2.2. So there, that's midnight New York, and at the same time we can obviously see we have this inefficiency here. This inefficiency I want to annotate is that as olive drab, then extend this to 9. So again, I've said on the 1 hour chart, I wanted to see price rally into this high here. So in this down close candle here, the high, my eye goes into that. So we have this high here, and we have this one here. But eventually, I want to see price trade at least into this high here. So those are two pools of liquidity that I'm looking for price to trade to. So that high is supposed to be white. Okay, and then also these highs here, especially this one. We're so close to that one, so I'm gonna put my trend line on this one. So this is how we look for points in price action that we are aiming for, or we expect price to trade to. So this is right here. So 5-minute chart, let's look at what we have here. So I've talked about that high. That's where I want to see price trade to, and then we also have this one here. So this high here, the high is 29,164.2. 29,164.2. That high right there. So we're trading at 140 right now, and I want to see price trading to that. So we have this inefficiency here, and as you can see here from where we opened up at midnight New York, we have Asian high right here. So we've gone above that high, and we are trading up here. So eventually I want to see price trading to 166, and then eventually going into 207. The time is 7:48. We're remaining 2 minutes, and then the 7:50 to 8:10 time period is coming. So trading higher. We opened up at midnight. We've been trading higher, and the momentum here is bullish. So the process that I've gone through here of determining these points in price action on the daily chart and the liquidity pools on the 15-minute chart, that is what that's what I do. So I'm determining the momentum in price, and I'm determining points in price action where I want to see price trade to, especially on the daily chart. That's where I'm expecting price to trade into the points of interest, and further going into the 1 hour chart. 1 hour chart and the 15-minute chart, I used it to determine the liquidity pools, relative equal highs, relative equal lows, and those kind of things. And with all that determined, you can see the relative equal highs here on the 5-minute chart. It's just so obvious, right? So I want to see price trading to that. We are bullish. This 750 time period has come into the marketplace, and I want to see price trading that into that high here, and eventually rally into this one. So this is it. Today is Tuesday. Yesterday we had a bearish move here, trading into this midpoint of this daily inefficiency. I was looking at that run there yesterday, and today we're trading here still around that price point. I mean, it's not by coincidence we are doing that, right? It's not a coincidence. So the momentum is bullish. I'm expecting higher prices, and the buy side is right there. So I want to see price rally low, at least into this inefficiency, and then we can get the higher prices. So you've also seen how I determine the points in price action that I want to see from the daily chart, and then I saved this template, and then I applied the same template into this here. So everything that I've done here, when you put it right here and reflect it into the lower chart, lower time frames, it becomes better to see what you are aiming for or what you're looking for. So we've got this rejection here lower into 122.5 now. I don't want to jump the gun and buy it, because we might trade back into this inefficiency and then start moving higher. So if it's really bullish, I don't want to see it touch that inefficiency. We might as well trade higher, but it can trade into that inefficiency and then trade higher. If it does, then I don't want to see it trade to the lower portion of that inefficiency. I mean, that's what I look for every day. So if we go through that inefficiency, then we might be having a deeper retracement into this inefficiency here. But this midpoint of this daily inefficiency is very important. Now that we have that inefficiency right there, it's the obvious one, and that's why it is important. And we have the buy side here, relative equal highs. That's what we're going to draw to. So the same high, you can see it right here on the 15-minute chart, this one here and this one. So this candlestick high is 157.5, that level is 163. That one here is this one here, 157.5, and then this one here, I think it's this drop right here, and this high here is 164.3, and that's what we're looking at, 164.3. So right there. So we're meaning 2 minutes, and then this 5 minutes is gonna close. So let's watch what it's doing here. So it has dropped lower into 120s. We've not touched even the midpoint of this daily inefficiency first. This point was 29,111.4. And you can see where we've opened with the new candlestick here. So this is the second candlestick with this 715 to 810 macro, and it's trading lower now. So the way we've been trading here from Asia, we had this run higher. We traded back into this range here. You can see the wick here, and then we went higher after this highs here from where we opened up, and this high here, and then it has started trading higher. Now the fact that it has done this here, we went below this low here, and then we had this run higher. Then this is a start on this momentum that we're going to trade into this 165 level. So very nice run higher, a little bit of retracement here, and now it's trading higher. So this 120 could have been a very nice buy right now. Could have been 7 points up. The low here was 113. So I wanted to see it drop into this inefficiency here, then we could be looking for a buy if we stay above this, the upper portion of this inefficiency. So let's look at that level. It's right there. That's the midpoint of this inefficiency. So I want to be looking at, if we trade back into this inefficiency, I want to be interested in seeing how it reacts with this inefficiency. So we can obviously see we are bullish. We formed a low here in Asia after taking out this and this one here, and you can see the respect of the upper portion of this daily inefficiency right there with the 15-minute chart. Close right there, opened up, ran down with the wick, and then we've been trading higher. We had this inefficiency here, traded back into that inefficiency, went higher. Twice here, higher. Thrice, went higher. And now it has been putting in higher prices until with this 15-minute candlestick that comes in at 7:45, it's a down close. Look at the 1 hour chart here. We're going to close this 1 hour chart in the next 2 minutes or so. You can obviously see that we've been trading higher also, but from the very higher time frames, we've been trading lower. So I want to see if price has the ability to get away from this inefficiency here without even touching it. Then we'll be really bullish, really bullish. So we're remaining with less than a minute, and then that 8 o'clock candlestick is going to come in. So we're up high at 129, 130s, and we've opened up that 8 o'clock candlestick here. So we can obviously see we are trading again into that 120 level, and we're up into 125s. And it's trading low now. We're trading at 117 now. I wanna look at the spread here. Let's look at show, bid, and ask. Yeah. They're all black. Let's make the ask one on blue. Right there. So very small spread on this live account. So price has stepped on 120s. Low here is 117, and you can see it's really getting up, wanting to go higher. So we're trading at 129 now, 133s. That's a nice push, beautiful push to 135. So that 120 is a very nice sell, buy, and you can see we're attacking the buy side now. So that 120 was a nice buy right there, and now we're trading at 140. That's a very nice push, 20-point push right here. So I want to see 165s. So we've been bullish. We've had these two down close candlesticks here, and it's ideal to see higher prices now. So I think I want to be looking for a long position here now, around here now. So it is retracing back to 133, 134s. And we've not traded back into this inefficiency here so far. That's a nice push to 143s. So price is retracing again back down into 134s, 133s. So new candlestick here open. We formed a swing low here. And let's see, these are relatively equal highs here. If you look at the very small time frame on the 1 hour, 1 minute, I mean, this is just too smooth here. And eventually I want to see it run after these highs. So let's go back to 5 minute. So we're trading down at 130, 130s. This candlestick's high is this one is 144. So I won't be surprised if we see a run high into that 144 level. So price has not traded back into this inefficiency. So I want to look at for a buy around 130 level if we get a retracement lower. But now it looks like it wants to just run after these highs. So we've been trading higher. We have this inefficiency here. We've not even touched this midpoint here, and now it's still bullish, and we have a swing low here that goes after this, below this one here. So I can expect them to push it into this high. So it's still pushing. I want to see it push hard until above that 144 level. So this 750, this is 755, and then 8 o'clock, and now this is 805. We're trading at 137 now. I want to look at a 1 minute chart and see how it's behaving here. A buy below this inside this inefficiency here would be nice. So it's down back into that inefficiency. So it's back down into 130. It's not really behaving the way honestly, the way I want to see it trade. I wanted to see it run after these highs, but you can see it's still trading around 130s. So let's take a stab at that 134, 135 level, because now I'm expecting it to start trading into these highs here. So let's look at how it's behaving here now. So we finished that this macro here 750, going into 755, and now this is 8 new 1 hour candlestick, and let's look at a 1 hour chart now. So this 1 hour chart, I'm still expecting it to trade higher. So I'm still expecting higher prices. That's why I've bought it. So I was expecting it to trade into this inefficiency, but it didn't. And now we are stuck around this 130s level. So we have the relative equal highs here that I've just talked about, and you can see the reaction there. So from 135, I want to see it go into 145s, and then at 155, that would be 20 points. So there is it. There it is, the attack on buy side. That's a nice run higher. So we're trading at 148 now, 47. I want to see 155. 155 level is not even on this buy side. It's just right here, so close to that buy side. But due to those relative equal highs that I talked about, I want to see it run higher into that buy side. And those are relatively equal highs right there. So we have that one. That one is exactly at 157. And then this candlestick's high is 164. So it won't be hard to get 155. So that's 135, trading at 145 now. That's a nice run on those relative equal highs there. And eventually I want to see it run to this high. So I want to use a limit order to exit this trade here, 20 points. Wow, it's back down again. So you know how we read the wicks. So this is right there. So if this candlestick here closes, then we'll be expecting another one to open and then run after this wick here. This has been a wild rejection after running into these relatively equal highs here. But because it's momentum, I'm still expecting the higher prices here to run into this buy side. That's the good thing about momentum. So let's look at a 15-minute because it's gonna close in the next less than 1 minute here. So I don't want to see a deeper retracement. If this candlestick here closes, I want to see it return back into that wick. So from where I bought here, we've had a run into 152 and 3 points into 155, and then we've had that rejection. So I don't really like it. So we've opened up a new 5-minute. I want to see it run through that wick and trade higher. Everybody will be expecting that run higher, run lower to go into these lows here, but it's just a matter of time before they prove them wrong. So I want to see it go through that wick and eventually trade into that high. Beautiful push higher, just like I've said it. So one thing going for me is we never traded back into this inefficiency here. So that's why I'm expecting price to run through that wick and then eventually trade after that high. It's a nice run higher. Everybody has been expecting this to go lower because of that wick. They're completely wrong. And why? One, for starters, we have momentum here. It's bullish. And we have the buy side here that I'm expecting price to trade to. So we have another nice push here to this candlestick's high is 152, the high, falling short of 3 points to 155 also. So if you look at this 15-minute chart and look at this high here, prices does not really has the interest to go into that. So, but it's bullish. So we might have a little extra patience with this price action here. So it never traded back into this inefficiency here the way I was expecting, and it keep on referring to that 150 level. So eventually I'm expecting the higher prices here to take price into that buy side. So again, it has formed relative equal highs here on the 1 minute. Look at it here. this high and this high here, these are relatively equal. So eventually I want to see it again trade above these highs. So the time is 8:19. A little bit less than 1 minute, and this 5 minute is gonna close. So if it closes on the upper portion of that wick there, that will be very nice. So I'll be anticipating also a run to that high. And I don't really want to see much of a retracement now. I just want to see it trade higher. So you can see where it has closed. Let's look at it closer. This wick here. We've closed so close to the midpoint, but below it. So that's not really pointing to a lot of strength, but I'm still anticipating it to run after these highs here and into that buy side. So that's the retracement that I did not really expect. So you can see how it's pushing higher. That's why I'm still anticipating that it's gonna go after these highs. So let's give it a little bit more time. That's a nice push, 145. So I don't want to exit this trade here and then price goes higher into this buy side where I was expecting it to go, and then I start blaming myself for not being a little bit more patient with this trade here. So that's why I'm still anticipating a run after those highs here and then eventually into that buy side, and it's really, that's a nice reaction, beautiful reaction there. So at no circumstance that I want to see it again retrace back into my position here. I just want to see it go above these highs here and eventually attack that high. So close, 153, 2 more points. So close. So anyway, let's do it there. So how many points are these? So from 135 to 153, those are 153 minus 135. So those are 18 points. So 18 points. I did not really like the way it is trading low. So eventually I want to see that buy side, but the patience for me is what I've just lost it. But 2 more points not really giving me a lot of stress. So that's a nice 18-point buy there. So if I could have had a better buy around that 130 level while it was trading at 130, then 140, 150 could have been very easy to anticipate. Even though I have a liquidity pool that I want to see it trade to, but it has gone above these highs here. I talked about this week. We traded back into that week came and closed here, and then it has opened up this candlestick, went back into my position. The low here is 135, and then we've pushed into the high now is 155.0, and my take profit was at 155.5. So that's a nice push, and you can see the buy here now. Beautiful 20 points, 18 points, I mean. I think that's really it. I'm not really in the mood today. But the markets are still trading. They're still in the mood. So you can see we've closed here, and that's really what I did not really wanna anticipate. We might have a major retracement here before we go after that buy side, but the fact that we did not trade into this inefficiency here, we're gonna trade into that buy side, and it has been pushing higher. So you can see 150 now. So I've explained the momentum. I've explained what has happened here. I've explained the targets that I was expecting here. I've explained the liquidity pools, the direction of which price is trading, and I've explained the macro time periods here. I've explained what it was supposed to do here, but it did not do. So that's an indication of very strong bullish momentum here. And I used the macros here to get into that trade. As you can see here, the trade comes in at 810. So immediately that 810 candlestick here, 805, 810, right here. Immediately it opened, I was in buying, and I'm expecting a 20-point run. Even though it has not reached from 135, we've not completely reached to 155, but I've taken it off at 18 points. So I'm still if I were to be in this buy here still, I will still be expecting it to run into those 20 points. So it has not shown any interest for this inefficiency here, and that's a sign of a very strong prices. So I think that's really it. I will take a screenshot, and I'll showcase that run into these relative equal highs. These are relatively equal. That's why I want to see it trade to. But I want to make this video here today short, and that's really it for momentum today. Until tomorrow, adios.